Today, I'm going to be going through all my seeds, which is a lot. That's a lot. And going through what my plans are. If you're interested, stay tuned, and we'll do that right now. Welcome to the channel. My name is Chris. I live in Zone 4 up north outside of Minneapolis. And it is very cold, and we just had 8 inches of snow a week ago, and today it's 60 degrees. And that's what it's like living in the Midwest. I think it's going to actually be 70, which we're in early March, mid-March, and it happens, but it's not a norm. So I'm going to take every advantage to go through and get organized and see what seeds I can get going. Let's take a look. All right, let's take a quick look at all the seeds I've got and kind of talk through them. I've got trying to get them organized, but let's take a quick look. All right, I am trying to get organized here with all of my seeds, and this is only some of them. This is my stuff that was mainly store-bought. I do have a whole bundle of seeds, which I'll show some of them that I gathered myself. Some of them are well organized, others are not. So let's go through this, and I'm going to talk through kind of my game plan for what I'm going to grow this year. So the first thing I got is dill. I'm going to redo my garden, my vegetable garden, because it's really a mess, and it's been about 4 years, so it needs to get a flake. It's been about 4 years, maybe 5, and it definitely needs a facelift. So I'm going to be doing that this year, and in doing so, I will lose all of my self-sown dill that is coming up. So I'm going to need more dill. Here is some dill that I had before. So this one was called Bouquet. I don't remember where I planted this, but this is leftover seed. I'll have to check and see how old it is. It may be past its prime. And then I have some different cucumbers. So the national pickling variety is like my absolute favorite cucumber for canning. So I've got some of those. And then I think what I'm going to do is run a trial against the Burpee Pickler. I'm going to run a trial against the Burpee Pickler. And I've done this in the past to see which one performed the best. I don't like the bush varieties. I like the trailing varieties. I think I get better cucumbers out of it. I did find this one packet of bushel, which is going to be a bush style, and I might put this in a container just to see what happens, but I don't want it in my regular vegetable garden. And then I have some classic straight 8 cucumbers, and these ones I will probably grow in a container as well. And a little bit of leftover seed from a couple of years ago. Next I have some broccoli seeds. I have never been good at growing broccoli, but I'm going to give it a go again this year. I want to start it earlier to try to avoid the cabbage moss and see if I can get it to grow earlier. Maybe I can leave it in the greenhouse here too in a container. I don't know, I'll give it a try. This is leftover seed, and there's a new pack. Same thing with Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts, especially in the fall, and I need to avoid the cabbage moss best I can. I tried putting a tent over them, but the cabbage moss seemed to get in anyway, so I'm going to try these again. And the one thing that I wanted to try, although they take up a lot of room, are these artichokes. So I'm going to give this one a try. I tried it before, and I got it to grow somewhat, but I didn't have it in the right location. I don't think it had enough sun. So this one says it's like 120 days. So if I get it started early, maybe it will survive. One of the fun things that I want to do this year is to try to grow corn, sweet corn, in one of my raised beds. I've never done that before, but I looked up, it looks like I can do it, so we're going to give that a try. The variety that I'm going to grow is Peaches and Cream. This is the variety that we like the most for up north here. This is the one we go looking for. My husband loves pumpkins. This variety is called Big Macs, and it's supposed to be pretty good size. Some of these pumpkins can weigh up to 100 pounds, and it's going to take 120 days to harvest, so 4 months. So getting them started early is probably a good idea. Again, dealing with some pests, I'd like to get it going early, so maybe I can avoid some of the problem. I have heavy clay soil, and when I try to grow watermelon, it's always been a challenge, but I'm going to give it a go again and see. I might actually take these up to my brother-in-law's. He's got really sandy soil, so they may do really well for him. I got two varieties. I got a Jubilee and a Sugar Baby. It's nice to have a treat of watermelon at the end of summer. And then we love, love, love squash. So I have got some buttercup squash, and it's like my favorite. It's smooth, flavored, and really, that's a great name, buttercup, but that's exactly what it reminds me of. I also have some leftover jack-o'-lanterns, pumpkins. I think I'll just find some random place to put those. I'd like to use up some of these old seeds. If the packets are open, I want to get them used this year. The next is everybody's favorite topic. That is tomatoes. So I got a few different ones. I'm going to try to grow some more container varieties. And here's a big boy. So if I have a big enough container, I should be able to do this. I'm not going to be growing these in my bed. Same thing with the cherry style tomatoes. Here is one. This is a sweet, super sweet 100 from Burpee. And it says it's 70 days to harvest. So that would be a good one. So like by 4th of July, I can have some for the salads. There's all kinds of really nice tomato recipes for cold salads for summertime. Here's Early Girl. Again, I might try this one for a container growing on my deck, just to give it a go. Trying to see how far. So this one says, yeah, it's 52 days to harvest. So we'll see how long that actually takes. And then I love making sauce. So I've got two different sauce tomatoes. I've got a Roma here. It's just a plain Roma is all it says. And then San Marzano. I thought I had a brand new package of San Marzanos. I don't know where it went. But that is my San Marzanos. For most people, the second talked about vegetable crop is probably peppers. If you haven't subscribed, that was a good time to do that. So here I have some California Wonder Peppers, which I've grown. They don't get super big for me. I don't think I get them in the ground early enough, so I'm going to try to get them in earlier. So this is 75 days to harvest. This is some random dollar store seed that my grandson got me for my birthday, I think a couple of years ago. So that's probably not the best seed. And then here is some Burpee hot pepper jalapeno gigante, meaning giant jalapenos, 70 days to harvest. So yeah, that looks good. And here's a California Wonder. How many days was that one? Did I return that one over? 75 days, I think I did. So one of the things that I really like to grow are sweet peas, and I like them for two different things. I like to eat them right off the vine. I like them to be a little bit sugary, and I've noticed there's quite a bit of difference in the peas. Sugar Daddy is, here's one variety I have. I think these are, can't see, 65 days, I think that's what that says. I got light coming in on me here. And then here's an Oregon. This is a brand new one for me this year. So I like trying different sugar peas. I think this is 68. Yep, 68 days. Plain old Sugar Daddy. I've got those. And then I've got these garden beans. Now I'm going to be growing that sweet corn out in the garden. And I think I'm going to grow pole beans, or these. I'm going to grow with that sweet corn in the garden. I think I'm going to put the beans in right with it. Once I see the corn is up, I'm going to plant these green beans with it. I'm not a fan of green beans, but I think I can find a way to cook them So I like them. This next group is my salad group of vegetables. It's a group that I am going to grow in my little raised beds by my house. I call it my kitchen garden. Salad bowl is hands down our favorite lettuce to grow. It's a loose leaf lettuce. It's ready, I think, in 30 days, maybe 40, 45 days, yeah. But again, one of my favorites. So I got lots of seed packages that are probably half opened. And then I always liked having some loose leaf. So when I plant my vegetables, I like it to be decorative as well, more like a potager garden. Give it a little bit more character, and having some different colored lettuces is always kind of fun. I'm not a fan of the peppery flavor of some of it, like arugula. I don't like that peppery flavor, but my husband does. So I can get some variety that way. And here is some Grand Rapids lettuce. I don't think I've ever had this one, so it'll be fun to raise this and see how it tastes. And again, just more salad bowl there. So that's my lettuces. So next here are my root vegetables. My favorite carrot to grow is Danvers. I got extra seed packets of them. So Danvers is my favorite carrot to grow. And this one is ready in 75 days. I will let these Danvers carrots stay in the ground until frost. I might harvest some earlier on if I want them. But I like them to grow absolutely massive. And then I oven roast them. And they are absolutely delicious. Very delicious. Just a little bit of olive oil and maybe some fresh herbs like rosemary or thyme and some sea salt. And I roast them for 35 minutes or so, and they are just as sweet. It's just like a wonderful treat. And I'll leave them in the ground even past frost, and even if they have some snow on them, and they hold up really well. So, and I'm in zone 4, so that's a good thing. So my next root vegetables are beets, and these are just some Detroit medium beets, and these are the ones that I use for pickling. I pickle the beets, and then we eat them on salads in the winter. So I got a lot of pickled beets still in my pantry from years gone by. I'll probably grow some more, but I'm not going to buy more seed. I'm going to use what I got. And last but not least, for the root vegetables, I don't have onions. I'll be growing onions too, but I gotta wait for the onions to come out. I don't grow them from seed. Radish. Cherry bell is my husband's favorite. I don't eat radish, and I try to grow maybe 12 radish at a time, and then I plant them about a week apart. So then I have a variation of radishes coming due. And then here's some sparkler white tip ones that might have a little bit more of a spice to them. And I think my husband likes these too. What he does not like are the French varieties. They're really long, narrow ones with the white tips. He does not like those. He says they're too sharp tasting for him. The next are herbs. Herbs, and more herbs. Okay. So here is some sage, which I can use when I'm cooking my turkey. If you guys have any other recipes you use sage on, let me know. I think I'll use it, I'll dry the leaves and use it as a rub for the turkey butter that I stuff. But you have to let me know what you use it for. Thyme, or English thyme, is my absolute favorite herb of all time. But I've got it growing here as a perennial, so it came back. So I'm not so sure I'm going to plant any more of it. I've got it coming up everywhere. Flat leaf parsley. I can grow it, but I usually get curly leaf parsley, and I plant it in my garden strictly for the butterflies. Swallowtail butterflies love laying their eggs on it, so I want to make sure that I'm supporting the butterflies. I saw something this morning that said the butterfly population is down again. I'm going to try to do what I can to help them. Here's some rosemary, another one of my favorite herbs. I'm going to grow some more from seed. This takes a little bit, but I love rosemary too. I actually bought a fig tree. I'll do a different video on that. And I've seen a recipe where you take a rosemary strand and you pierce through the figs, and then you roast the figs, and it's like, that looks really good. Anyway, here's the rosemary. I wish that I could grow it here and it would stay, but it just doesn't. And when I try to take it in for the winter, it never survives. It always succumbs to it usually succumbs to the fungus that's on there. Cilantro is not my thing, not my favorite thing, but I will grow a little bit. My daughters and my husband love it. So I'll buy some, I'll grow some for them. And if they use it in their food, like to make a fresh salsa, you know, they can have it for that. Basil is another one I just love. I've been making pesto. And this is a sweet basil. 60 to 90 days. This should come due about the same time that the tomatoes come due, and it's really good with tomatoes and lots of different recipes. More basil, and then oregano. Oregano I've struggled growing. It takes quite a while for me to get it to grow. One of the problems that I have with growing some of these Mediterranean herbs like this is that I get the soil too wet. I've got to let it drain out a little bit more. So that's part of my problem with growing these types of herbs. Moving on with all of my flower seeds that I've got. Again, these are just my new purchases, not the ones that I've saved myself, which I have a ton of those too. Let's just take a look at what I got. Let's start with the climbing vines. My husband absolutely loves this cardinal climbing vine. He loves red. We have a pizza oven, which you may have seen in some of my videos, and it looks just like one you would see from Europe, one of the old style ones from like Tuscany. And he really wants these vines growing over top of his pizza oven. So I'm going to try to do that for him again this year. Last year I tried it, but we got caught up with other things. I love blue. The color blue is always fun. So these are Heavenly Blue Morning Glories. Morning Glories seem to take forever. Morning Glories seem to take forever to grow. So these ones take 75 days. So I'm going to start them out and see if we can get them to grow. I would love to see them blooming in July. So I got to get going. We're in mid-March right now. And my last freeze date is not till end of May. So they'll have to go in the house or a warm location. And here's a new one I got. This one's called Pearly Gates. And I'm going to put this in my moon garden. I've got my moon garden is also my birdcage garden, and I'm probably going to have them grow up over that birdcage just to kind of get them started. The one thing about morning glory is if they're happy and they go to seed, they will continue. They'll reseed themselves, which I've had happen in the right conditions. So hopefully I can make that happen with these two. The next garden vine I've got is this Black-Eyed Susan vine. And I've seen these in the store, but they've been really, really expensive. So I decided to get some seed and try it myself. I don't want to pay for a plant if I can grow it from seed. Here's sweet peas, which everybody loves. Again, I think this will go on my bird cage. I'm looking for a white theme for the bird cage garden and to make it more of a moon garden. So here's passion flower. I don't know if I'll get this to come. Sometimes they say it might take a whole year for these to come up. So, and I'm in zone 4, and these won't last in zone 4, so I have to grow this as an annual. Next seed I've got here should be in my herb collection. This is chamomile. Let me give you a fair warning. If you're thinking about growing chamomile, put it in an area that can ramble all by itself. This stuff reseeds really fast, and it makes one heck of a mess in your garden, and you're pulling it out of everywhere. Great if you want to collect your own seed great if you want to collect your own blossoms for making tea, which I do, but I need to put it in a place that is well away from any other garden. Here's another white flower. It's a white marigold called Eskimo. I thought that was interesting. And I got this for my moon garden or my birdcage garden too, because I thought this would be kind of nice. Let's see how big these get. You can see there how big they get and the spacing. Another one I wanted was the pure white cosmos, again, for the birdcage garden. These things will reseed themselves, and it would have white. and when everything else is kind of faded and gone to bed, these will continue on until the hard frost comes and kills them, which is really kind of nice. There is how big they get. My next flowers are delphiniums, and here is some Pacific Giant. I have some seed left. These get about 5 feet tall, so if you're going to do a cottage style garden, that's good for that. But I have recently switched over to this Fantasia mix. I've got a video on that. If you want to check out the description, I'll put that in there. I grow 3 different kinds of delphiniums, but the Fantasia mix is a really good one if you've got a real windy area where a Pacific Giant will topple over. The Fantasia group they're shorter. The Fantasia group is only about 3 feet tall versus a 5 foot tall, and they're less likely to be damaged with the wind. And they come in all the standard blue and purple colors, so really like that a lot. The one thing that I don't have is a full white. You can see there's a white mix there. I am looking for a white delphinium. I have some seeds. I'm going to have to buy a special because I want them for my birdcage garden. Next are just kind of some standard seeds. Here's some snapdragons I've got. The mixed color, I grew these last year. They were really nice. They lasted well into frost. Even after a hard frost, they lasted a long time. And then I have some ladybird poppies. These are leftover seeds. I'm going to try it again. Hungarian poppies. I don't know if there's any seeds left in this container, but I'll try those. Those are not hardy to my zone, but I'll give it a try. And here's some more 4 o'clocks. Again, these are annuals. And then some royal carpet alyssum. This stuff really takes off. It actually reseeds as the year goes on, and during the same growth year, you get more of it growing everywhere. So make sure you have this in an area that it can naturalize. Here's some more morning glories. I think that's an empty packet. I grew coleus from seed for the first time last year, and I'm going to try to do that again. So I am going to get that started here probably pretty soon. This is a perennial. This is baby's breath. It's a little bit open and wispy. It really needs a lot of room. So make sure if you're going to grow baby's breath, you leave it in an area that it can do that. And then I grow several different varieties of cosmos. And this one is all, if you really like the warm colors, so these are all orange and yellows and reds. It's really nice. And a whiter color are these Summer Dreams. And again, cosmos will reseed itself. So if you got an area you want to naturalize, it's really good for sandy soils. So if you've got a really drought, like a rock garden or whatever you want them, they do really good. They come up like crazy. So here's the next one. This is Russell Hybrid Lupin. I used to struggle growing these, but last year I grew a ton of them. And what I did is I soaked the seeds for 3 days. And then that just seemed to break that shell. And then they all came. I had more lupin than I knew what to do with. This year I'm putting a new orchard in. I'm going to put it in ground to see if that helps me. I've been trying to grow trees in containers, and the rabbits, I can't protect them well enough from the rabbits, so I'm going to put them in ground and do individual trees. I think it'll work better. But either way, I'm going to put the lupin around the bottom of the trees in my orchard because it will drive nitrogen into the soil. And I know there's going to be somebody that says, well, that doesn't happen until the plant dies. Yes, I know. Well, lupin is a short-lived plant, so the nodules that are on the root segments will be able to break down when the lupin does die because they are short-lived as a perennial. Some more snapdragons. Color mix was good. Zinnias are kind of a fun plant too. I'd like to grow them in containers and see if I can decorate my porch with different containers, so I'm going to try to do that. Canterbury bells. I don't know, these just didn't do well. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe I've got them in my greenhouse or in my winter storage and I just don't know. And nasturtiums are really good for the garden. I'll probably plant these out there to help bring pollinators in. This is Cherry's Jubilee, which is really kind of nice. Maybe I'll save some seeds from that. And then if you like blue, really blue. These are forget-me-nots. For me, this is an annual. This does not come back. There is a little self-seeding on it, but it's really, really tiny blue flowers. It's really a nice contrast flower for your annual bed. And I've got some hollyhocks here from seed, which I've planted a bunch against a shed. I have to see if they come up and I plant some more. This is the single variety versus the double variety, which look like carnations. And then here is some carpet of snow. This is alyssum. This is also good for my white theme I'm going to be doing. So I'll try to plant that as well. I didn't see this one reseeding like I did the purple. The purple one was reseeding everywhere. So those are my main seeds. So here is my little seed saving kit that I've got that I started last year. I started showing what I labeled, and here's what I've got in here. White petunias, marigolds, some oriental poppies, cardinal flower, different petunias, purple stock, oregano, starry nights, cosmos, and picote cosmos. So these are some of the seeds that I saved, and I just put them in these little vials, so they're labeled. They're just in there like that, so that's how they store. And then to make sure, I didn't know which ones needed to be cold stratified, so I threw the whole kit in the freezer. I thought, well, we'll just let it cold stratify in the freezer, and we'll see what happens. But that is my cute little case. I'll see, I can link this below if you want to do this. I just like how small, how nice it is. It's nice and small, and it's very compact, and it's highly organized, and I really kind of like that. And it also has this nice little mesh. And you got some other, it did come with some seed packets too here. You can see it came with the seed packets. And it keeps your pen and everything all organized. So this is probably one of my favorite cases that I've had. And it just zips right up. If this seed extravaganza was entertaining or helpful, give us a thumbs up so YouTube knows to share this content with others. If you like garden tours, check this playlist next. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.